we're going to start talking about a possible trailer idea that we'd like to start building because we're poor country folk and we ain't got no money.
Yeah, we'd certainly be building this one on a budget.
There are definitely a lot of, in that nice fancy trailer we were talking about, there are definitely some really interesting parts about that we would definitely consider into piecing our own trailer together.
Right.
But it would just be the biggest decision for us really is to where we're going to start, because I think we got like 3 different ideas about starting points.
Right.
We talked about finding old military trailers because they're real nice for this kind of situation. They already got the strength. We talked about just getting a little utility trailer and just to get the frame of it and everything. And Seth even thought about just finding a really short mini pop-up camper and putting big tires on it, essentially.
Well, I think other than the third idea you just had, it really doesn't matter what you start with, because in order to make this thing efficient and practical, you're basically just starting with any kind of frame. Now, obviously, the width and the footprint size of it's going to be important, but the suspension underneath and what you build on top of it is really going to, it doesn't have anything to do with what type of trailer you start with. So I think you're really kind of open to any possibility on where to begin. If we're starting out, I would probably start out with maybe a single axle utility trailer, maybe 6-8 foot long, nothing real big, something pretty easy to tow. And I think I would go with just a traditional trailer axle, 2-link suspension with coil springs to give it some comfort, some flow, and flexibility.
Can you tell us what exactly we're doing?
Okay, so my family had an old pop-up with 2 beds that hung off each side that we used to go camping in all the time, and it's kind of rotted away. The top ain't really no good no more, and we're going to take the appliances like the gas line, the gas hookup, the water line, water tank, anything else that's got in it that we think would be beneficial, and we are going to build a little slip-in camper that we can put in the back of that military trailer. Yep, there's 2 of these on each side. Other than that,
I think the next thing I would probably incorporate into this trailer would be a a water storage tank, and maybe a gas system set up to run a gas stove, so you're not having to carry a bunch of cans of camp fuel around. The water tank, I think I would really like to have that as opposed to carrying jugs around, because I can fill this tank up. And like we said in the first half of the show, I would build this tank down maybe underneath the bed, or at least as low as I could possibly get it, because the more weight you carry low, the more stable you are in a leaning situation. So, and certainly you can carry more water in one large tank than you can in 1 and 5 gallon jugs. Plus, I would also incorporate in the pump system, so I wouldn't be having to pour water. I could flip a switch, turn the pump on, and then I could draw as much water out as I wanted. The gas system, like I said, just so you wouldn't have to carry around cans of camp fuel or even the Coleman bottles, I would probably put 1 or 2 25 or 30 pound propane bottles underneath the tongue of the trailer.
See, I would probably go along the idea for like a lot of campers. There's like a little cage you can slide those propane bottles into on the tongue of the trailer.
Right, and while you are carrying more fuel, which in a sense may be more dangerous, I personally think it's better because it is protected and they're locked into place, so they're not going to go anywhere. And because it is a permanently plumbed-in system, chances of a leak are minimized.
This side has 4 poles you put underneath that holds it up, and then right, it has 2 on that side.
I see where you put 8 feet now.
Huh?
I see where 8 feet go now.
Yeah.
neat little camper though.
Yeah, the sink done fell out of the. That took a hit. I don't know how.
I think y'all loading's what tore this thing up.
Probably.
Look at it right above you there. There's a hornet's nest.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Well, I'm glad we're right here. I could be stuck inside with them right now.
You know what? Y'all probably have to take this. I'm thinking y'all may have to just pull the whole thing back. It might be easier just to pull the whole thing back and strip it down in the shop.
Thinking you may be right. We ain't gonna pull it though. We're gonna put it on roll bag.
Yeah.
Are the wheels just too bad?
2 flat tires. I think we shredded tires putting it on the trailers.
So you have to go back and get the roll back.
I'm thinking there's enough canvas here for us to use.
And for me personally, I still kind of think more along the lines of I'd like to have this trailer to tow to a campsite to set up and leave it. You know, I tend to want to go out and come back to the same campsite as I do camping in a different spot every night. So that just more adds to it. You know, keep the gear that you're only going to need at the campsite with the camping trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I think another feature I would like to have on a trailer I'd like to build would be, we talked about earlier, the battery system and a cold storage refrigeration device of some sort. Now I actually have already I believe it's a Dometic brand. It's a 12 volt mini refrigerator. And I know that Dometic's a really, I think I'm pronouncing that right, it's a really big company. They make all sorts of RV and camper refrigerators, and they make them in electric battery powered and even propane fired refrigerators, which is a really cool concept.
Well, it's SAE brand, so we can make anything work.
Yeah.
Probably the easiest way to get that out is when we get the top off, flip the trailer over.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I think it'd be cool to use this is that we still got the cooktop back home on the camper. Mm-hmm. It mounted right here.
Right.
And no, it mounted right here. And it just hooks into that. Mm-hmm. So if we were to rig
inside,
that's at home.
okay.
And we even got the rail that it hangs on, and the stand and everything. We got that all hung in a pile, and that's a spot where you could hook up the table. We got that.
And the table?
Yep, and table. We got all that. And then similarly, the awning was up there, and we got the whole rail and awning together with that.
Okay. Was it just fold out?
It was just like the one that's on your camper, except for it's manual.
Okay.
And it had
Sunsetter retractable.
Mm-hmm. So the way it worked is you put a leg in that was pushed off of this, and then a leg out here, and it came in and it pushed off each other.
Out too.
Mm-hmm. We got all that to put
me.
on whatever we build. Oh yeah, there's stuff underneath these too.
Is there a separate sink that hangs outside?
No.
Well, we might not have this as an option anymore.
What is that?
I killed it.
You can mount the actual sink though on something else. That's what I mean, we just get the tub, put it on something. Soap dispenser.
How did it hang on the side? What'd you take off to get it there?
It just ripped off. It just used to sit in there.
It was screwed in.
That's what I mean. That's the first time I've ever seen it not in the counter.
Oh, you've never had it outside?
Yeah, it doesn't go outside.
You just said you hooked the sink up out there.
Oh, it didn't.
What'd you say then?
The stove in the table.
Oh, that makes sense. Alright, so the sink belongs right there.
Mr. Lincoln. Because I'm thinking we got a cool plan.
I like it. Get out of here.